This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network. And joining me right now is Bob Goldstein. He is the chairman and CEO of US Nuclear Corp. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is UCLE on the OTCQB. Bob, good to see you. How you doing?
Oh, great to see you again, Robert.
It's great to have you on. So last time we had you on was about a year ago. We published that last interview on May 21st, 2020. The company's come out with a number of announcements, news, and a recent investment or 5% stake in a solar mining company. We have a lot to cover today, Bob. So, start us off. What were some of the key highlights in the last 12 months?
So a lot's going on. Of course, the just surviving 2020 was great to be done with that. But we're moving ahead, and we're getting a lot of traction with our really all our different products. We're making good progress with selling drones to FEMA and State Health with their instrumented. Drones are not just for tourists anymore, they're for getting data, but not very many people know that you can put more than a camera on there. So we have radiation, chemical, biological sensors to check for the borders and things like that. One of our investments, we own 40% stake in Grapheton, which is a startup, and they have just amazing patents and developing products, especially in the capacitor field, which sounds sort of nerdy, but if you think about it, it takes 8 hours to charge a Tesla to full charge, and that's because they've got the batteries can't take a charge very quickly, and of course you need an awful lot of electricity stored in that battery to make it go. But not everybody knows, the battery its purpose is to store electrical energy, but it's not the only choice. You can also store it in capacitors. Capacitors can be filled up, and then they can deliver their charge. Say you have a charging station for your Tesla, and you had a capacitor bank in there instead of the batteries, or just instead of the AC. You could fill up the capacitors, and then you could download them. It takes milliseconds, thousandths of a second to download. So, but say when you've got everything fixed up, say it takes 5 or 10 minutes to charge your Tesla instead of up to 8 hours. So that's the charging station, but also on board in the car, you've got that battery. The battery needs rare earths and lithium and cobalt and other materials, and so that are desperately needed in other parts of our economy. If we could just put them, these are carbon and copper devices. So it frees up all those rare materials can be used in other industries. So we think we have a big future there. Also on the capacitor situation, and pardon the nerdiness about it, but so we all know that there's a shortage of computer chips in the world, and that's one thing that's slowing down car production, but it's also slowing down if you want to buy a new computer, you got to wait because they don't have the chips. So, and America used to be the lead country in designing chips, but we've let that go to Taiwan and other faraway places. So Grapheton can also help with that. They have most chips, it's complicated, but most chips don't have capacitors on them, and they can't do as much as they could with the Grapheton technology. We could put the teeny little capacitors on the teeny little chips, and they could work a lot better, and this will help America bring back its leadership in the integrated circuit market. So there's a couple things, but over to you for a minute.
No, there's a lot to break down there. But one thing I think our audience wants to know, the revenue generating side of the business, how are we doing there? How's the company performance been on that front?
Yeah. So again, 2020 was was a stinky year, but we're recovering from that, and I think we'll be back up to, we're typically 3.5 to 4 million a year. We'll be back up to that rate by the end of this year. And
very good. All right. Well, I gotta ask. You know, the company just put out the news on buying a 5% stake in a space mining company, Solar System Resources. Tell us your thesis. You know, what's the thoughts? I didn't mean to hesitate because I did no judgment at all. I promise. I'm just, you know,
well,
I gotta hear it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds sort of whimsical, but we all know that there's going to be people living on the moon, people living on Mars in a few years. I can't say how many, there's a few, but after a while. And that besides just the fun of being somewhere else, there's got to be industry there. And the important industry is, bringing materials back that you can mine or collect on the moon or on the asteroids or from the comets or whatever. And it turns out that there's a lot of very rare and precious materials available. The asteroids, you can pick, there's stony asteroids and there's metallic asteroids. And if you just pick a metallic asteroid, and almost everything on there is useful to us. You know, cobalt, rare earths. They have platinum and gold and silver, we believe. So now this is some years in the future, but the industry is starting to scale up now. We know it through the SpaceX and the other space flying entities that are sort of for tourists and for putting up satellites right now, but that's sort of practice for doing it. So there's lots of money to be made on the planning side as advisors and researchers to help these big companies get ready to go out into space and bring back gazillion-dollar asteroids to make us all rich.
Very good, Bob. All right. Well, to close this out here today, you know, what's a couple things that you'd like investors to know, you know, moving forward, obviously, from what you can tell us?
Well, I think that's a good question. But so we're not just a startup. We're a company that has products, that makes money, that works very hard to produce products that are green and sustainable. And we're at the cutting edge of various technologies in these companies that we're buying a share in these different companies. In most cases, we have a contract to be their major manufacturer. So we are planning, we'll probably be spinning Grapheton off at some time, but even so, we'll make some money when we spin them off, but then we'll also be their manufacturer. So we'll make good bucks in the high-tech manufacturing business.
Very good. Well, with that, Bob, where can our audience go and find more information about US Nuclear?
USnuclear.com.
Very good. Bob, as always, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Good luck. Stay safe. As a fellow California and LA person, stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Right,
Thanks, Rob.